So a couple disappointing eliminations to discuss here. Chivas are out, so are Rayados. Which is more disappointing, Herc?
Rayados. And let me just tell you about Chivas really quick. Why it's not disappointing. Before Veljko Paunovic came, after Matias Almeida, they had the last 8 years a season finish of 9th place. That was their average. They were perennial 9th place team that would fight for the playing game. El repechaje would fight to be in those type of moments, right? Last season, they made it to a final. They're 20 minutes away from being champions, if not for Tigres. This season, with all the problems that they had, he steadies the ship and gets them into playoffs again. And it should have been over that first game. They should have put Pumas away in the first leg. They didn't. But there's no way you can compare, for as big as Chivas is, for Equipo Grande, as big and popular as they are, they don't make the same investment as a Rayados, which is the wealthiest club, the richest club in all of Mexico. A team that has failed time and time and time again. And I will get to Tan Ortiz in a second, but we can go back to Turco Mohamed, we can go back to Vucetich, we can go back to whoever you want, the same set of players. Okay, maybe a Vasco Aguirre, maybe they add a player here or there, maybe they increase the investment here or there, whatever you want. It's always the same fracaso tras fracaso tras fracaso. It's always a failure with them. This season, you're going to go play against San Luis, and they run you into the ground. A 1-0 win for San Luis that could have been much worse. You get lucky. As Tano Ortiz said, they left you alive. Walking dead like zombie-like, but they left you alive. You go into your house, which has been a house of horrors for you in Liguilla, in the playoffs, and you get thrashed by this San Luis. And what makes it worse is Tano Ortiz beats himself. You score a goal in Funes Mori, your all-time leading goal scorer. You finally start him. He scores a goal. The best goal scorer the club's ever had in their history, and you take him out in the 63rd minute. And I understand that Tecatito Corona comes on as a sub, and Tan Ortiz, he can't help if he gets injured. That's not on him. Guess what is on Tan Ortiz? Burning the 3 substitution windows without using the 5 subs. You put yourself in a position, and then you allow San Luis to just pick you apart. That's on Tano Ortiz. It's another fracaso for Rayados, and your boy has been saying it all season that it was going to happen.
You've been saying it for a while that Rayados are just basically the fracaso team in Mexico, but you specifically called for San Luis to beat this Monterrey team. So we'll give you all your flowers here. What's especially embarrassing about this, if you're Rayados, is the way the playoffs are set up, Herc. If you have the higher position in the table, you have such an advantage. You basically begin with 1 foot in the next round. It's such a power dynamic over 180 minutes to be like, we don't even have to do anything. And we advance. And yet, despite that, they couldn't get it done. I don't know, Herc. I don't know how you can have Rogelio Funes Mori and how you can have Berterame up there and you can score 1 goal against San Luis in 180 minutes. I don't know. I mean, to me, that's got to come down to the manager, Tan Ortiz, and not being able to get enough out of this incredible, at least on paper, roster. Because when I saw Tecatito, he's not the Tecatito that we think we used to know. He's definitely a far cry from that player. But you look at this Rayados team, Herc. I mean, Tecatito, big money. Sergio Canales, big money, not around. The guys that they've poured their money into, Maxi Mesa's, I mean, supposed to be one of the best players in the league. This guy's terrible for Rayados. I look at this team, I see so many players who haven't lived up to it. I've seen so many coaches. You mentioned them, Vucetich, Aguirre, Turco, part 2 of Turco. I mean, they come, they're unable to win. They won a CONCACAF Champions League in 2021. We'll give them that. But it's wild. And as far as Chivas is concerned, the reality of the Chivas roster, and this is why it can't be more disappointing, Herc, than Rayados, is Chivas don't have the roster to say, we're better. We should be there. I think Chivas, though, could have that roster. We always talk about Chivas and we say, oh, well, they limit themselves with Mexican players. And that's why, you know, if Chivas had the best Mexican players, Liga MX is not the Premier League. They could compete. Honestly, they could compete in Liga MX if they had the best Mexican players just in Liga MX. Forget the guys in Europe. But they don't even have that. So you look at this Chivas team, they're always showing up to a gunfight with sticks and knives. They're never really going to be able to, outside of maybe a lucky run here or there, be in a final. Rayados, on the other hand, what a nightmare. And I don't see it turn around anytime soon. Tan Ortiz got 3 playoffs with America. He might only get 1 here.
No, I think he'll get another one. Just knowing
You think so?
Knowing the president of the team, Tato Noriega, he's not the type to just make rash decisions. And here I am saying that, and he let Vucetich go after a record-setting year. But I don't think he will do that because he's on the hook there as well. But listen, the one constant here are the players. I joke around with them. They're known as penguins. And part of that is because they're pecho frios. They don't feel it. They don't have that passion for it. You see this team, they show you they don't have the passion for it. There are a lot of names, rich names that make a lot of money. Berterame, Funes Mori, Aguirre, Maxi Mesa, Sergio Canales. The list goes on and on. Hector Moreno's there, big-time player at the center back. You know, Jesus Gallardo, national team player. You look at the players they've had in the past, Tecatito Corona. It's just a star-studded team, but when it comes to crunch time, they let teams like Atlas, Puebla, San Luis twice, Tigres at home, they let those teams bully them and knock them out of the playoffs.
Yep. Last league title for Rayados back in 2019 in the days
who was that against?
Before the pandemic.
Who was that against?
I forget. I blacked out. I missed it. I
must
have missed it. Why'd you bring that up? Who could forget? What sadness in the CONCACAF Champions League finals. The semifinals are set, I should say. Wednesday, we're going to have the first leg between San Luis and America. And then Thursday, Pumas are going to host Tigres in Mexico City. Both second legs this coming weekend.